Hey, what's up YouTube? Kyle here with KGB Knives. In today's video we're going to be going over how to make the sheath for this. At the end of the last video I know I said I was going to do the polishing on this, but I decided that I like this brush look so much that I'm just going to keep it on there and I'm not going to polish it out. It's actually going to be a two-tone. I'm going to polish up. Hey bud, here's my little helper. My other little helper is going to be coming in here any second. But so we're going to go ahead and make a two-tone, a Kydex with a leather backing sheath for my neck knife. Alright, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the camera so you can see what I have here, and then we're going to start filming. Alright, so before I forget, I'm going to do a rundown of everything that I have for this project. Alright. So here I've got some black eyelets that I got off of Amazon. I've got a heat gun, a temperature gun, some Kydex, piece of leather. I use a little old toaster oven. Hey little helper. Some big C-clamps or big adjustable clamps, and a Kydex press. And for this one I have some blocks that I put in underneath of the blade when I'm doing the press, and you'll see why in a second. So I'm going to move this out of the way, get the camera resituated, and we'll go from there. Alright, so my two little helpers just left me. They're out playing in the yard right now. Okay, so we have the blade here now, and basically what I'm going to do on my Kydex here is I'm just going to get my layout of where I want it to sit at. And you want to give yourself plenty of room so that as the Kydex presses down around the knife, it gives it enough room to form onto the handle or onto the blade itself. So now that we got that done, I've got two little lines with pencil. I don't know if you can see them. You can probably make them out. And I just take a nice metal ruler. I go from point to point, and then you just want to score it a few times with a carpenter's knife. Okay, that should be enough. After you score it enough times, you have a nice line, and you can just bend it, and it basically just pops right off like that. Alright, so you have two sides to your material here. You have a nice rough side, and then you have a really nice glossy side. As you can see there, glossy, rough, glossy, rough, glossy, rough. Alright, enough of that. So what I do is I usually do mine with the rough side up, and so with that, because these grates are here, I will put the material on the grate like that. This way if any of these grates happen to imprint on here, it's all on the back side of it, so it's not in the way. So what we'll do is we'll throw this on the grate. We'll go ahead and throw this in the oven. And the tip to Kydex is to bring your temperature up in your oven slowly. From there I'm going to go ahead and move the camera. After I move the camera, I'll get everything set up as it's heating up in the oven, and show you how I have my press set up. Hey dude, you back? Press all set up for the temperature of the oven. It should be 200, 225, 250. Right around 255 is where you want to be at. But alright, I got my temperature gun. It looks like we're sitting at right about 250 right now. So right here, see, we got it nice and flat. Slapping it on. I have a smaller piece of wood in here, or a thinner piece of wood in here, so it makes it a lot easier. Press on nice and thin. So we're going to let it cool down in the press. You want it to cool down for probably about 10 or 15 minutes. If you don't let it cool down, or if you don't give it enough time to cool down, I should say. That's my gloves. Yeah. You want it off? If you don't give it enough time to cool down, then what will happen is, when you take it out of the press will, or the Kydex will start to deform and change from the form of the knife to something else, or it'll warp a little bit. So just be aware of that. Alright, so it's been about 20 or 30 minutes actually. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen up these clamps. just what we want, perfect. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and mark where I want my drill holes to go. I'll drill them out, then after I get done drilling them out, then I'll trace around those holes as to what I'm going to be cutting out on the Kydex. So I'm going to go ahead and drill out these holes, and then show you what I got after I get done drilling them out. Alright, so I got all my holes drilled out. Alright, now from there I'll go ahead and draw around those eyelets, and I'll give myself those holes, and I'll give myself enough room for the eyelets to go through. Alright, so we got it all traced out on here. I'm going to take it over to the bandsaw and cut out the outline and show you what I got. Alright, so like I said, this is going to be a very, very rough cut out of it, okay, but I got all my holes drilled up, and from here we'll go ahead and sand it up. You know, put the stick on camera. We were also out here doing a little work on a stick. We drilled a little hole through the stick, and we cut the branches off of the stick. So we've been out here working really hard today on this. The old battery died while I was getting everything set up to grind. So I just went ahead and grind out the profile of the Kydex. From there I got some leather. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll take this leather, I'll take the little, the one half of the Kydex, and I'll put on there, and I'll just trace out the outline of it on the leather. And then what I'll do is I will basically rough cut this out with a razor blade. I'll drill out the holes for the Kydex where everything will line up, and then after I do all that good stuff, I will I'll go ahead and actually cut it out with the razor blade. Going to go ahead and cut this out, get it up on the drill press. Same concept as the holes on the Kydex, so I'm not going to get too close up in on that or anything like that. All right, so I got the holes drilled in the leather. I use the eyelets to keep in place, and what I'll do is I'll drill the hole, put an eyelet in there, drill a hole, put an eyelet in there, and it keeps everything all lined up and good and all that good stuff. So as you can see here, it's got some pretty good retention as it is with just these eyelets how they are. But I'll cut a strap out when I'm all done and put a strap that goes around it to lock everything in place. So what I'm going to do from here is cut around the outline with the razor blade. Alright, so we have the leather side here. Bam. And nice. Bam, I don't have the eyelets in there. I'll press them up once the stain and everything's done drying. But this is the basic concept of it. And then from here we'll go ahead and I'll stain up the leather. Once I'm done staining the leather, I'll show you what that looks like. So the other night after I got done filming, after my battery died on me, what I did was I drilled the holes in the leather. I stained the leather. I put a top finish coat on the leather, and this is what I have right here. Alright, so I've got my rivets in here. I don't sew this up. I rivet it all in place. Right now what I'm going to do is I've got this is like a little keep that I have. Basically what I do on my neck knives, while the sheath has enough retention to hold the blade in, I personally like to have, for added comfort, this way you're not walking around in the woods with a sheath with a knife that's supposed to be sticking in it. You get to your campsite and lo and behold, the knife fell out on your walk. So I like to put these little added straps on here, this way they don't come apart. And basically what I'm going to be doing is drilling a hole for the keep to go into place, and riveting everything together. I'll be basically making this into a little wraparound strap that'll wrap around the knife. I already went ahead and did this with some paracord. These are the cords that'll go around your neck and tie off to the sheath. Something I do is I put a double slip knot so that you can adjust it around your neck however you want it to be. I'm not going to get into depth on how I do anything with paracord, because if you want to learn how to tie paracord, go ahead and look up another YouTube video. It's a knife channel. So what I'm going to do from here is step over to the drill press, and I'll show you what I do to rivet my holes. Alright, I got everything set up in my drill press. I know there's probably some poor soul out there that's like, oh no, don't use your drill press to do this. But this is what I use. It gets the rivets pretty much the best I've ever been able to get them. So I got my little rivet die set up in here, okay? I just took a piece of wood, drilled a little, I think it's like a 1 inch or 3/4 inch hole, and this little die press sits perfectly in there, okay? And what this does is allow me to get my rivets in there, and it gets me a nice little clean finish on them. So here we go. Alright, so this is what we have here. We have everything riveted up. Bam, bam. And now, knife goes in, knife doesn't come out. Alright, so as an added thing that I like to do, I like to have that strap there runs around the back. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the camera and show you what I do for that. Now what I'm going to do is add in this little toggle. Okay, now we got our little hole drilled, and I'm going to take this, it's a screwing type back. Now that I've got the screw in there, I'm just going to take a little tiny dab of blue Loctite, and then we're going to go ahead and put this stud on here. Okay, where did I put my screwdriver? It's over here. And then we're going to go ahead and cinch this down. And we have our little sheath for our neck with our little dongle on here. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and tie on the necklace part of it. Alright, so for some reason the camera stopped recording, but that's the one side. I got a little bit of a lead sticking up, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. The reason why I do it while I'm wearing it is this way I can see what I'm doing as I'm tying it, and to make sure I'm tying it the right way so that none of these little things are going to be poking in somebody's chest if they're wearing it underneath their shirt or whatever it may be. And that's how it's going to sit. So you put your knife up in there, and then you can go ahead and adjust it if you want your knife to sit a little bit higher, and that's how it's going to be. So now what I'm going to do is, I got my little piece of leather here. Alright, I'm going to do up the hole so I can put this on the little rivet end here. I'm going to go ahead and take a little leather punch, put it on there, and hammer away. Alright, now with me, with my leather and how I do my leather, on my full leather sheaths, I like it to be nice and tight. The tighter it is at the beginning, when it wears in, the better it'll be off at holding retention and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my hole, right? Once I mark my hole, I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the punch again. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything fits up good. Alright, so now that we got the hole punched, we're going to go ahead and put our little screw piece on here to hold everything in place. And this is just so I can get a good measurement of where everything's going to fall and lay. So now what I'll do is I'll mark off the back here. Basically I'm going to cut this piece off of the back, and then on the front here I'm just going to round this front piece over. Alright, so we got our piece here. Now what we're going to do is grab the little edger, the leather edger, go around it, and bevel the edges, and then this thing will be ready to stain and throw on. So we got the little latch is all, I guess it's a latch. My little latch piece here is all done and dried up and everything. Alright, so now we're just going to go ahead and put it on the sheath. That's pretty much it for this one. Okay. This video is pretty much done there. As you can see, the neck knife, the necklace part of it is all adjustable. Okay, so I make it big, put it around my head, cinch it to where I like the way it sits, and it just sits there. Now it's a little tight right now, but over time it'll be like a one-finger operation. Alright, as it wears in, put it back on, and then you can go do whatever you need to do. But the concept is that you're able to use one hand to get it out. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video right here. I hope you guys liked it. There's a lot of little tiny portions of this video. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Especially with the leather and the Kydex combined. Sorry for kind of missing some of the footage with the whole leather process. Maybe later on down the line, if I get a bunch of people that are worried about it or ask me questions about it, I might do a full-on video on that. But I hope you guys like what you saw. Please like, subscribe, or comment. That's how YouTube pushes the videos out for more people to see. But you know, I'm really having a lot of fun with this series. It's a little bit more time-taking than I thought it was going to be. So after the next video is done, I'm probably going to take a break for a couple weeks before I do anything else with videos to get caught up in the shop and things like that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Later.